Birthing the Future didn't start out as a campaign. We initially wanted to update the website with new imagery that was both inclusive and represented our diverse community. And who better, we thought, to represent our community than members of our community? So instead of recruiting models, we set about recruiting people who were really trying to conceive and who were actually pregnant or postpartum. So we put a call out on our social media and we had hundreds of applications. And it grew really organically from there. The stories we received were so powerful. These were women talking about their experiences of mental health, hyperemesis, diabetes, pregnancy after loss, racism in the maternity system, navigating trying to conceive as a member of the LGBTQ+ community, and fighting for their birth plans. It was no longer about just taking their photos. We wanted to do something to really celebrate their unique experiences and all the different pathways to parenthood. So we hired a studio, brought in a makeup artist and a photographer and a videographer so that we could capture every bit of it. Organising all of this in the middle of a pandemic, it was no small feat. We knew we wanted to photograph our heroes, that's what we call them, in their underwear, and when we couldn't find an inclusive, comfortable and colourful enough brand, we sourced and hand-dyed each piece ourselves. We then had Birthing the Future gowns made for them to keep and to wear on set, and we wore them too, so that nobody would feel self-conscious. And over 3 days, we had 15 amazing members of our community joining us to share their story of becoming a parent. Like Darcelle, who's expecting her first baby mid-pandemic when she's separated from her family by the Atlantic, and who talked about coming to terms with feelings of antenatal depression.
Sometimes it is hard because you feel, down and sad and tearful, and you have no explanation for it. And then the guilt starts to weigh in, where you just start to feel, gosh, I should not be feeling this way. I hope my baby doesn't detect that, I'm feeling down. Reading up a little bit about it and also mentioning it to my midwife and my GP, they've really supported me through this. It is fine to not feel that joy, I think, at the beginning. And, just making sure that, of course, you're taking care of yourself. You have that support system to be able to kind of get through, to get to the point where you are excited about it and you are looking forward to what's to come.
We spoke to Laura Rose, who opened up about the emotional toll of IVF as she and her wife tried for their third baby. And all the amazing work she does campaigning on behalf of the LGBTQ+ community.
I think there's a common misconception that everyone that has IVF falls really quickly unless they're infertile with really bad issues. We were just so hell-bent on the fact that it would happen. We tested about 4 days early and I was just broken and just really, sorry, I don't know why I'm getting upset. I just really struggled. When people say, oh, I'm sorry, it failed. It's the word failed, hasn't worked. All that kind of language, it kind of makes you feel like a failure. Having a baby is obviously not very easy for our community, and we feel that it is every person's human right to have a child by their chosen route. But we feel also if the NHS can't fund that, then it should be means tested. So it should be for those of a low income or from areas of social deprivation, so they get access. And then if that means people like us have to pay, so be it. It's not great, but those that can't ever afford it get that opportunity to have a child.
We also heard from Taja about the emotional roller coaster of uncertainty and anxiety that is navigating pregnancy after loss, and the heartbreak of having suffered multiple miscarriages.
It was still for me like, okay, we're having a baby, but can I be excited yet? No. Because I've got this huge worry over me of like, I let myself get excited and then it's even further to drop. I think it was only like 2 or 3 weeks, but it seemed like forever to get my dating scan. And I was still at the stage of thinking, they're gonna do the scan and there's gonna be something wrong. There's not gonna be a baby or there's not. So as soon as I see the baby on the screen, just the tiny little thing, it was so different. It was like, there it is. Like, it was a real high moment for us.
And we spoke to Teki about the discrepancies in treatment between black and white birthing people, and how some of the microaggressions she experienced impacted her pregnancy and birth.
I was completely gobsmacked to find out that here in the UK, black women and birthing persons are 5 times more likely to die from childbirth and childbirth-related complications compared to their white counterparts. It's quite a heavy thing to carry, in addition to all the other emotions and expectations and unknowns you're facing, especially as a first-time mum, not having the answers of what this means to my birth experience, whether I'm going to be able to birth in autonomy and safety. Speaking of microaggressions, one of the ones that I felt impacted me greatest throughout my pregnancy was lack of representation. And that went from doing like my pregnancy courses. I think breastfeeding was a really big one, where you only ever saw pink nipples, and it's just hard when you don't see yourself there, and in a positive way, when you're only represented in terms of these dire statistics. You really have to dig deep to find a place within yourself where you can celebrate your experience.
And it was Tara who told us about fighting for her birth plan when she discovered she was having twins.
When I was researching, it was just lots of scary stories, and it was really giving me the idea that, you know, if I wanted a safe delivery, especially, that I would have to go for a cesarean section. And so I do feel like it's like my mission to let people know I'm proud, and to let people know that it can be done. I feel like a superwoman. I felt like a superwoman on the ward, because it was unusual to have the natural delivery with twins that I had, and I was getting a lot of praise from a lot of the midwives, and I was just lapping it up, because I was in agreement with them.
It was a really emotional experience for us. We don't always get to meet the people who use our courses or read our book face to face. So it was amazing to hear the part that these things had played in their incredible stories.
So I first knew about the digital pack through my doula, who highly recommends it. At first I did think it was all airy, fairy. Yeah, how's that going to help me? Like someone, you know, trying to coach me through my breathing. I can breathe already. But yeah, it definitely did help. It was like clear, relaxing. I quite enjoyed rewatching it over and over, actually. I was still even listening to the fair in the car, and that was one of the things I told my partner: grab my headphones and my eye mask. Zenning out and, you know, blocking out all the, you know, outside influences was great for me.
The hypnobirthing digital pack has been amazing, both for me and actually my other half. He seems to be benefiting from it so much, which is amazing. Just hearing the facts, it really just sets my mind at ease.
For years, I've always actually felt really terrified about giving birth, and it was really just the labor portion that I've been terrified about. Right away, I signed up for the digital pack, and, you know, I've just been really encouraged by the content that's included in there. I feel more confident even if I were to go into labor tomorrow. I'm prepared for this. I'm ready. I'm confident, and, you know, I'm really excited for you know, getting my baby out so I can actually hold on to her. So, yeah, it's really been a journey.
For us, Birthing the Future is about celebrating women and birthing people and all the different pathways to parenthood. We wanted to put them centre stage and shine a light on their experiences and give them a platform to share their story. And now we would love to invite you to join in by sharing your story on any social media platform using the hashtag Birthing the Future.
Birthing the Future takes passion, determination, time, strength, tears, a lot of medication sometimes, and partnership. So partnership with your partner or family or clinic, and a real big level of support.
Birthing the Future takes determination, knowledge, communities. I'm going to get emotional. It takes so much support from the people around you and from yourself, and so much emotional development and healing, and faith in that everything's going to be okay, faith in the future, faith in your children and your body, and being able to ask for help. It's transformational.
We are the Positive Birth Company, and you are birthing the future.